Hello again, and for today, I'm going to be delving into a brand new commentary. But before I begin, of course, there always has to be a little bit of housekeeping on this channel. I'm sorry about the audio quality of that last video. I tried to do one before I went into my brand new job, and turns out you can hear sirens on a parking deck. So apologies for that. However, I thought it was at least conveniently timed for the end of the video where I went into my fiery conclusion. And I think overall it works, but I might have to slow down a little bit as far as the production of my videos in the meantime, because as we approach 1 year on this channel and my 100th non-finished series-based videos, I need to move out of where I am currently. It's just not working out up here, and I will say that it is a blue state, so that will say enough about why I don't like it. But essentially, I might have to slow down a little bit in the latter half of this year, but rest assured, commentaries will be produced at some point or another. I will try to keep myself on a more relaxed schedule. However, there will have to be X amount of videos produced each month, which I'd say 4 would be pretty good for this channel, to do 1 a week. And so that is unfortunately what I'm going to have to do in the meantime. At some point, if I have breaks between gigs, I hopefully will just produce, but we'll see how the world turns on that front. And as far as a patron update for my one patron waterfall person, I think because I've left that money in escrow, I'm going to use that towards the purchase of a audio jack mic for my phone, which is my primary recorder. And so thank you very much for helping me to purchase that. That would be something that will improve the car recordings like this one right here. So let's dive into today's subject. Speaking of money, I'm talking today about intergenerational wealth and why I do not think it actually works for the generations it's supposed to go to. Now, the concept of intergenerational wealth is very simple. It's one man wanting to provide for not only his immediate family, but for future generations of his family. This is how dynasties of American families have been built. Tucker Carlson, I would say, is a great example, as he is part of the Swanson fortune. The living Mrs. Disney is part of the Disney family fortune. Arnold Schwarzenegger's ex-wife, Maria Shriver, is part of the Heinz fortune, as well as being a Kennedy. And so you see a lot of American families that are built like this, that, have these kinds of people who essentially live off the sweat of someone else's brow. And that person may or may not be dead, but essentially they have ties to some kind of family fortune. And a lot of older Americans believe this part to be the American dream, because it guaranteed that they worked hard enough so that their future family would not have to struggle. However, there is one key factor that is wrong about this. Human beings need conflict and struggle. These are the character-defining moments that are key to our development as human beings. There's a reason why we don't have stories that lack conflict in narrative structure. It's because conflict drives character development. It drives growth. It drives story progression. And to get out of the storytelling perspective, without conflict and struggle, we cannot grow as human beings. This is, again, a key component of the human experience, is to struggle. It's to rise above the challenges that beseech you. And to want to have this kind of intergenerational wealth, I believe, is personally utopian. I think it is a bad idea. And I also say that as someone coming from the experience of having a little bit of money in the family, and not like millions upon millions of dollars, but just like maybe half of one. My dad was definitely 100,000-aire, but essentially, to have intergenerational wealth is essentially condemn future generations to not want to really work hard for themselves, because what's the point? We already have money in the bank. And so, I would say if you are starting a family and you have that kind of money, you should, again, make your kids kind of do exactly what you did, because that's what built you up to be a strong man, and that's what builds kids up to be strong adults. So, yeah, the conflict and struggle are character-defining moments that are key to human development, and this is exactly what is wrong with intergenerational wealth, and as a result of this lack of conflict and struggle. Now, what happens as a result? There's a cause and effect, and the effect is a lack of motivation to really do something worthwhile. You see this with the younger generations who have intergenerational wealth. They become members of Antifa because it thinks it will give them purpose, when in reality, they are just rich kids rebelling at their parents. And as a result of this, we see in society that, having all this money essentially means there's a complete lack of motivation to really be your own person, have your own money, make your own future with your actions. And, as someone who did have a little bit of money as a child, I'd say it has stinted me a little bit to try and learn this. I'm quite older than I wanted to be at the point where I am in life right now. I wanted to do this a little earlier, to where I've had multiple relationships. I've learned about making my own money. But again, I would also say that, the ideology of progressive leftism is diametrically opposed to wanting to make your own money, because they don't believe in making your own money, because they want to live in a post-scarcity society that doesn't exist. And so the real fuckery in my life that caused me to not be ready to be my own man put me back a couple years, and I really can't stop kicking myself about it. And it's because I should have known better. I love all these stories of conflict, and yet I couldn't get it in my brain that I needed to create my own conflict to go be my own man. And so I think I'm going to start getting towards the solution, which I think I said already in this commentary on accident. But the big solution of this commentary is that if you're a parent who is coming into money now, or you're a young man coming into money and you're trying to build a family, what I would say is to not stop getting that wealth, but to make your offspring work for it, and to teach them why they have to work for it. Because work is work, okay? Work is hard. Work isn't fun unless you have a job that fits you, which will be a commentary upcoming. But if what you do makes you happy and it makes you prosperous, to replicate that success with your children, you cannot just give them what you made. They have to make it themselves. This is what I've learned. This is what a lot of people have learned, that they have to make their own money in order to really understand how you made that money in the first place. And this is the wisdom that I'm going to teach my children. And if you like it, go ahead and claim it as your own. My father walked so I could run, and I walk so that my children can run. And that is the whole point of creating your own wealth. But as a blanket, as a familial safety net, it is not terrible to also have that intergenerational wealth. I just really think, as the title states, intergenerational wealth hurts future generations. And if you just know that the thing that made you a strong person that had all this money is the fact that you really fucking put your head to the grindstone and worked for it, and your children understand that, then they'll be fine. They will make their own money, and you'll have given them the safety net of other money. So, in conclusion, to all of the uber rich families that don't understand this, well, you better tread lightly, because all of that money sitting in escrow will dry up because of the future generations and their actions. Hello again, and I have very exciting news. I just found out on May 20th, 2020 that I have a paid subscriber, and so as a result of getting said paid subscriber, they personally get a shout out. So shout out to Waterfall Person at the $5 level for contributing to this channel, and I hope you hear this in all videos from here on out until there are more subscribers rolling in through Subscribestar. So thank you again.